we want to keep evolving what we do and changing what we do.
What I was wondering, have you been to Hawaii?
No, I've never been. I don't think any of us have ever been there. But it's a nice idea, you know. It's an idea more than a place when you haven't been there.
What are you thinking of when you think of Hawaii?
I think of like a classical paradise island, you know, where you just enjoy life and exotic, you know, like somewhere you can dream yourself away to.
Yeah, you said the world is grey. Do you think maybe this kind of dreamy places are getting more seldom now?
I think it becomes more. I think there'll be more and more escapism. You know, the bleaker the world gets. I don't think the world is a bleak place in particular. I think the world is an amazing place and a somber place at the same time. But I think people need these ideas of paradise, you know.
Have you maybe encountered yourself practicing escapism a little bit?
Escapism? Yes, absolutely. I think most people do. I think, you know, when you watch television, that's escapism. If you watch a sitcom or if you read a book, it's all partly escapism, isn't it? You know, or even if it's just to escape boredom, it's still escapism. But escapism is a good thing, in my book.
Would maybe the thing that you do now, make music, is that also a form of escapism?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think everything is somewhat. I mean, it's a lot of different things, isn't it? You know, it's also my job. It's also a way for us to express ourselves, a way to communicate. You know, put things into words and music that you can't just write down or tell someone, you know. So it's a lot of different things, but escapism as well, definitely.
Are there maybe then similarities that maybe some things that you haven't seen, Hawaii in this case maybe, is there also a beauty maybe in that case in things that you haven't encountered yet? Maybe that.
Of course, there's you know, it's just like the monster under your bed. You probably couldn't draw it, you know, because it would never be as scary as the real thing, you know. In your head, it becomes more scary, and in your head, a nice, exotic paradise island becomes more like paradise, you know, than it actually is, probably.
But then, when it comes to this creation thing, in the music way, do you have sometimes that when you have created a piece of music or a song, do you sometimes the idea that you have captured this kind of thing that you want to maybe to try, or is it always you see how it comes out?
Yeah, I don't think that we're very conscious about the final destination of what we do. It's more just throwing ourselves into it and see what comes out of it, you know. And then you start picking up these pieces of the puzzle and putting them together and seeing a grander image yourself as well, you know, and making it work, you know. But we don't sit down with like a master plan, you know, like that.
Is it maybe that because of that you don't do that you cannot fail, or you will?
I think that's just the way we like working, you know. I always felt like when you start painting a picture, if you're a painter, I think if you already know, I mean, most people say you need to know what to paint before you start, otherwise it's not going to be good. But I don't feel that way. I think that if you work knowing exactly what you're going to paint, then it just becomes the work itself, you know. It becomes a tedious job getting the paint on the canvas, you know. Whereas if you experience what you want to create while you create it, it's more interesting, you know. It's more spontaneous and there's more life in it somehow.
Do you think maybe, is there a difference then creating visual stuff and creating music? You said you worked as a post-production, in a post-production company. What kind of things did you do there? Is that?
Well, I used to work in the film industry. I used to make a lot of special effects and animation and stuff like that. And I did that until we got signed to a major label. And I still do a little bit of animation for the band, for our live visuals that we have. Yeah, I think for all of us in the band, music is a very visual thing as well. Like, we often discuss the music in visual terms, like, okay, and then we reach this, corridor, and then this happens, and when maybe there's like rainfill, like with symbols, or we often talk in imagery like that, when we try and express what we mean.
Has it always been like that, or is that something that's shaped its way along the way?
I think it's always been like that. We always played together, since we were in school. We started playing in like the 8th grade, so we kind of developed our own language. I think it'd be strange for other people to listen in on the conversations we have, because we just have our own way of expressing things.